Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the show today. And today I got a pretty interesting a topic that I want to cover. And, the topic is really why the Toronto Raptors may shock the world. So that's what I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Also, make sure you hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content so you don't miss anything. Also, this show is going to be on our Dreamerspro Podcast, which is on Spotify at the moment. So we're going to have that in the description in the description below. We're going to put the link there so you guys can definitely check that out. And we're going to be up on iTunes pretty soon for the people that like listening to our content on iTunes. So that's going to be there. Now, in today's video, I've been planning to do some videos about the Toronto Raptors. I covered them quite a bit last season. Because Kawhi Leonard was playing with them. And as I said before, well, at least some of you know already that Kawhi is my favorite player in basketball. So he's been with the team, since he left the team, I've had my eye on them. But I've been covering the Clippers a lot more because that's the team he plays for, and that's my favorite team. And also it's a team, not my favorite team, but it's my favorite, he plays for, which kind of becomes my favorite team. I'm a fan of Kawhi. And sort of like how Shannon Sharpe is a fan of LeBron, and he kind of supports the team that he plays with. And also, the fact that I've had my eye on the Toronto Raptors all season long, but I haven't had the chance to do as many videos on them. But I said that closer to the playoffs, we're going to be covering them a little bit more. Now, I have a lot that I want to say about the Raptors. I know some of our viewers are Raptors fans, and I'm sure that this video they're going to be interested to see it as well. Now, looking at the Toronto Raptors, okay, last season. They had a fantastic season, but usually what happens with the Raptors is that they generally have these good seasons, regular season records, and then they get to the playoffs, and then, when it comes the moment of truth, they usually tend to just, flame out. You don't have to go much further than 2 years ago when they had a very good record. I think they probably had the number one record in the East, or one of the top three seeds in the East. And they went up against LeBron James and the Cavaliers, and they completely capitulated. I mean, LeBron James, I think in that series, I think he either hit a buzzer beater or something like this, and they lost to him. And the team had a better record, and Kyle Lowry was there, DeMar DeRozan was there, but for whatever reason, they couldn't seem to get over the hump playing against that guy. And last season, however, they were able to acquire Kawhi Leonard via trade. Masai Ujiri said, "You know what? Listen, let's try something new. We've been doing this for a long time. It hasn't given us the results that we wanted. So they traded DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard, and it was a decision that DeMar DeRozan was displeased with, to say the least. And he said, he didn't want to talk to Masai Ujiri. He's fake and blah 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 blah. And Kyle Lowry was hurt as well because this was his best friend, according to what I understood, and him losing DeMar DeRozan was a big blow to them. He had been the most successful Raptor in that in the history of that organization. So it was a big blow. But Masai Ujiri decided to do something that he felt was in the best interest of the organization, as opposed to being in the best interest of one of his best players. And as a result, for him trading away DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry was, publicly, unhappy with Masai Ujiri's decision. But Masai, I think in a leadership role, you have to make tough decisions. And I don't think he did it for personal reasons. I think he did it in the best interest of the team overall. So that's the reason he decided to trade him away. So what happened? They got Kawhi Leonard, knowing that they possibly only had him as a one-year rental because he was planning to eventually move on to play for another organization, because everyone said that he was planning to go play in LA, either for the Lakers or the Clippers. We all knew that. That was sort of the rumors going around the NBA. So they traded for him. And throughout the regular season, they had another good record. They had I think, a top 3 record in the East. And, it was just business as usual. But the question always remained, and everyone had the question, is that the Toronto Raptors always have a great regular season, and then when they get to the playoffs, they turn into the baby Raptors. That's always been sort of the reputation of that team. So what happened? They ended up getting to the NBA playoffs, and I remember at that time is when we started to do sports videos, just well over a year ago, and I said then that I predicted, this was when the Toronto Raptors were playing against the Orlando Magic in the first round, and I made a prediction then, and I said that Kawhi Leonard in the first round was going to end up being the Toronto Raptors were going to end up winning the NBA championship, and he was going to be the Finals MVP. I made that prediction when they were playing against the Magic, and they lost the first game against the Magic. But I had this belief in Kawhi that he was going to be able to deliver for that team. At the time, no one was saying that. No one. Maybe a few people, maybe Toronto Raptors fans and maybe some people out there, but not in the mainstream media. I made that prediction. So what happened? They went on a historic run. He went on an historic run in which he led the entire playoffs in points, rebounds, and steals, went to the championship round, and they won the NBA title. And it was amazing to see. You know, he pulled off something that no one in the history of that organization, not Vince Carter, not DeMar DeRozan, no one had been able to do, Chris Bosh, none of them. And he won the title. And he deserves to get the lion's share of the credit because all the other players had already been there and they never won. So you insert a superstar into your lineup and all of a sudden you guys get to the NBA championship, which you'd never done, and then win it. He deserves the lion's share of that of the praise. So what happened? Kawhi Leonard left the team. And the Toronto Raptors were there. And I remember them saying to Kawhi, if you leave, we're gonna kick your butt when we see you. And I think it was a friendly banter. Going into this season, however, with them not having DeMar DeRozan, nor Kawhi, and Masai Ujiri refusing to trade Pascal Siakam for Paul George at the time, Kawhi Leonard walked. And throughout this regular season, the Toronto Raptors have done nothing but have one of the best records in the NBA. They currently have a 52-19 record, just 2 games behind the Milwaukee Bucks in the loss column, which is something I didn't expect. And I saw Serge Ibaka go on, he has his TV show where he eats weird food, and he invited Charlemagne on the show. Excuse the noise in the background. That's anyhow, I'll tell you about that later. So he told Charlemagne that he believes they're going to be a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. And Charlemagne says, you guys are not even going to make the playoffs. And Serge Ibaka told him, you're insane, right? And the Toronto Raptors quietly had this belief in themselves that they could repeat. Why is that? Because they've been playing with a confidence that they never had ever before in the history of that organization. They're champions. And now they know that they can win that championship. And a lot of the players on that roster, if we look at the Toronto Raptors roster, we have Pascal Siakam, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, Matt Thomas, Norman Powell, Stanley Johnson, OG Anunoby. A lot of these players understand that what they're chasing is something they've already gotten before. So it's no longer something like a pipe dream. Instead, what they're trying to do is just sort of repeat a result. And for me, I think they're one of the few teams out there going into this bubble that have a legitimate shot at winning the NBA championship. Number one, because they know how to win a championship. Minus the fact that Kawhi Leonard is not there, he left a blueprint on how to win. They now understand what it takes to win because they've done it. It's like sort of interning with a very successful business person. You spend enough time with the guy, you spend a year with him, and you decide to move on, you're going to understand what it takes to become very successful because you've seen the habits. It's one thing to sort of look at successful people from afar and try to emulate what they're doing. It's another thing to work with them, learn from them, and then go out and do your own because you're going to have sort of the best practices under your belt. And I think the Toronto Raptors have a very good, very, very, very good chance to win the NBA title because they've already done it. They're the only team in the Eastern Conference that can say that, really. Giannis Antetokounmpo can't say that. None of these guys really have any championship experience, really, except for the Raptors. And, they've proven that they can win, and none of the teams in the East as of yet have proven that they can do that. So, given the fact that LeBron is no longer in the Eastern Conference, who was probably the only other player that really understood how to win championships, and the Toronto Raptors were the last team in the East to win a championship, I think they can definitely shock the world. They have what it takes, okay? I wouldn't write them off. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do come out of the Eastern Conference. I absolutely would not be surprised. And I absolutely think that they can win for all of the reasons I just listed out to you. So before I go on too long, what I want to know from you guys is very simple in this episode. Do you think the Toronto Raptors have what it takes to shock the world? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day.